Here's my response to the last 4 questions in this atheist YouTuber's video. My name is Ross Burns. This is the Burns Eye View. Let's go. The one, the only, the singular, sultry baritone voice of Alabama's atheist community, Dallas Wade, my friend and yours, has posted a video that he wants Christians to respond to. 10 questions, and this is the very last video that I'm making. Definitely check out the previous 3. They are hopefully worth the watch. So let's jump right into it.
Many times the Bible refers to the earth as being flat, the sun as orbiting the earth, the sky as being a dome, as well as the earth sitting on pillars and being stationary. Christians typically don't believe that the Bible is being literal in these instances. Do you believe that the creation story in Genesis is also an instance where the Bible is not being literal? Or do you believe that it is a literal account of the creation of the universe? And if so, how do you determine that the Bible is being literal in this instance and not in the other examples?
So certainly I would agree that passing references in the poetic passages in books like Job and Revelation, apocalyptic literature of that sort, I don't think those are intended to be literal physical explanations of the nature of the universe and the earth. But that's obviously not to say that there's nothing in the Bible that we should read literally. When Jesus calls Herod a fox, I don't think anyone for a long period of time wonders if he's a different kind of mammal than human being. And I also don't think when Jesus calls Peter a fisherman, we're supposed to wonder if that really means he's a fisherman or if there's some other kind of non-literal meaning to be discovered. The way that you sort out those two differences is going to be the same way that you would sort out the differences between interpretations of the early passages in Genesis and later passages in books like Job and Revelation. The basic question is, what did the author mean to communicate to his original audience? You can look at the genre being written in. Is it a historical narrative? Is it an epistle? Is it apocalyptic literature? Is it poetry? The way that you interpret a book matters a lot on who the original audience is. A line from the ancient Jewish hymnal is going to be understood very differently than doctrinal instruction to first century Gentiles and Jews in Rome, and I think you see the point. So my reading of the first 2 chapters of Genesis is that the author was not intending to communicate the scientific age of the universe to his people, but rather God's sovereignty, humanity's sinfulness and fallenness despite being created upright, and things of that nature. So I don't see any necessary reason within the text in Genesis 1 and 2, which, by the way, is poetry. I don't see any necessary reason to conclude that we should consider the earth to be 6,000 to 10,000 years old. That being said, I also don't think that there's necessarily any reason to consider the Earth is 4 billion years old. If you want me to go more into depth about that in another video, just leave a comment below and I'll definitely be sure to do it.
In your opinion, what are the 3 best proofs that the Bible is true? And just to clarify, this question is asking for the 3 best proofs of the Bible specifically and not theism.
So in the first video response, I gave a more full explanation of the reasons that I've been convinced that the Bible is true. So definitely check that out if you want the fuller explanation. But I think the 3 best proofs of the Bible's veracity and truthfulness come from the historical reality of Jesus' resurrection and therefore his validation as Messiah, and therefore validation of his promises that his words won't pass away. Secondly, the self-attesting divine qualities of the Bible, such as are found in prophecies in Isaiah 44 and 45, with Cyrus, the expected king, 100 years later, and also Jesus' prediction that the temple will be destroyed in AD 70, 40 years ahead of time, and also the unity and harmony despite the diversity of 40 plus authors over 1,500 years, 2 different continents, 3 different languages, that cannot be compared or found in a like manner in any other religious text. And thirdly, the unparalleled amount of New Testament manuscripts that we have, giving a very reliable witness as to the original reading of the New Testament, just in the sheer historical data, several orders of magnitude more than any other ancient religious text. The New Testament is much, much, much more reliable than any other ancient text that we have. So those three things: the historical resurrection of Jesus, the self-attesting nature of scriptures as to its divine origins, and thirdly, the tenacity of the text in terms of its transmission throughout history.
Is it better to silence the critics and avoid listening to criticism, or is it better to engage with critics and refute criticism? Which of these two options do you find to be the approach that most Christians take?
Well, it's probably not hard to guess which I think is a better option, considering I'm taking the time to respond to critics' criticism and the great exchanges that Dallas and I have had in the past. Honestly, I think most people side on option A, no matter where you are in the political or religious spectrum. That's just kind of how human beings are. The whole reason I have this channel is to have more of these conversations where we can dialogue with one another and we can give criticisms of one another's worldview and position, all the while doing so in a friendly manner, in a courteous manner. That's why I have this channel. That's my passion. That's what I want more people doing. Hopefully this can be an example of good discourse. And by the way, if you want to support that, there's a like button and a subscribe button, and even if you're feeling a little crazy, a notification bell. Just saying.
And lastly, are you open to the possibility that your beliefs might be wrong?
Definitely. My views on a lot of issues have changed over the years. Examples would be my view on predestination and free will, having gone from more of like an Arminian, traditional Baptist sort of view to a more reformed Calvinist view. My views on eschatology have changed tremendously. And there's probably another view which I'll probably be coming out with sort of soon that is changing my mind. That's going to be pretty dramatic. Dun dun dun. Cliffhanger. So yes, I've changed my views pretty dramatically many times in my life. From Christianity to atheism, from atheism to Christianity, from more of an independent Baptist Christianity to a Reformed Calvinist Christianity, which is a huge shift. So yes, I am very open to changing my mind on a lot of things. Whew. So there you go. Those are the answers to the 10 questions that Dallas posed, and I hope I answered them with, in a way that they're helpful and beneficial to people watching this video. So in that spirit, if you have questions that you'd like me to answer, comment them below, and I would love to answer them. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos. I'll be back definitely with more soon on some pretty controversial topics. So definitely check out the channel in the future. I'm Ross Burns, this is the Burns Eye View. I'll see you next time.